feel like you got hit by a truck? Do you feel like you want to hit something with a truck? Well, if that's the case, guys, then Seed does all that for you, whether she's on the field doing the damage or off the field and enabling your main DPS to do more of that damage. So in today's video, guys, let's talk about the best build for Seed, kind of how she works and everything like that. So let's go ahead and start off with the best in-slot W engines first, guys. And her best in-slot W engine, guys, is going to be her signature W engine. Now, what this W engine is going to be doing is off rip a 24% crit rate increase, which is absolutely massive for her. You do want quite a bit of crit rate because she already gives so much crit damage to herself from her kit. So this does assist you with her build quite a bit. What the additional ability is going to be doing with this is it's going to be increasing her crit rate by an extra 15%. But not only this, guys, whenever the wearer does damage to an enemy with a basic attack or EX special attack, they get one stack. And each of these stacks, guys, will be increasing the electric damage by 12.5%, and you can get up to 2 of these stacks. That's an extra 25% of electric damage you can be dealing to the enemy, but there is still more that this light cone does, and that's whenever you have 2 stacks, your basic attack and ultimate damage is going to be ignoring 20% of the enemy's defense. And if you don't know how Seed works, guys, literally the crux of where her damage is coming from is her basic attack. So you want to be putting everything into that basic attack damage that you can, because you have absolutely massive multipliers with that, and you want to be bursting that off as much as possible and using it as much as possible. This W engine does really feel like a must pull for her because of how much it does for her, and you'll probably have like a 20% increase in the damage you're doing if you have this W engine. But if you don't have the W engine and you don't have the summons to pull for the W engine, let me tell you the other alternatives now. Second best in slot, in my opinion, while it doesn't give any crit rate, but Brimstone is a completely good option here too, because this is going to be giving you so much attack. Off rip, 30% attack. We love that. So cool. Fucking amazing. But on top of this as well, guys, whenever you're hitting an enemy with a basic attack, dash attack, or dodge counter, you're increasing the attack even more by 3.5. This can stack up to 8 different times. And like I said, the main source of damage is her basic attack. You're using her basic attack most of the time, so you can get this up really, really quickly. But okay, let's say you didn't have that W engine either. Other alternatives you can use, guys, in terms of the A rank options, the BPW engine cannon rotor can work. Automatic 20% crit rate off a rip. On top of this, you're getting extra attack percentage, and whenever you land a critical attack on the enemy, you'll be inflicting an additional 200% of her attack to the enemy as damage, which is cool. Also, Marcata Desire will work here as well because it'll be giving you an inherent 20% crit rate increase. And then when also you use an EX special attack or chain attack, you're going to be increasing their attack by an extra 9.6%. If the enemy's under an attribute anomaly, you increase it by an extra 9.6%. And the other options I would say, guys, that can work on her would be any other attack signature W engine that has crit rate in the scalings can definitely help her out a lot. But that's all that I have to mention now in terms of the W engines. Let's go ahead and talk about her best in slot teams and teammates now. Starting off with what I believe to be her best in slot team, since you have to run her with an attacker to make sure her additional ability is going off. I think Seed, Orphe, Austrial, or Seed, Orphe, a Trigger are going to be the best in slot options here. I do think that probably you get more damage out with your Seed if you're running Austrial here versus if you're running it with a Trigger. Now, I do think Orphe and Trigger will work better together. Now, obviously you can't run this in the game right now. This will be the best in slot team whenever you actually can run it. Alternatively to this, guys, another team you could run, since Orphe's not in the game right now, would be a team with Seed, Soldier Zero, Ambi, and Trigger, or Seed, Soldier Zero, Ambi, and also Austrial. I think either of these teams can also be very, very effective just because of the fact that you're getting massive buffs from Seed to Soldier Silver, Ambi, and then also Austrial is going to be buffing whoever's on the field anyway, so you're getting massive buffs all around the board. Now, these are both very bursty type of DPS, so you're really bringing Soldier Silver, Ambi out to go in, do her little 3 slashes across, and switch back to Seed, do her burst, and then keep going back and forth and rotating through your lineup there. So I would probably have Seed out in the field the majority of the time because she's probably doing the most damage. She's doing a lot more damage than Soldier Silver Ambi is. Obviously here you're making sure you're facing electric weak enemies. Now if you're in a situation where you're not facing electric weak enemies, other alternatives here for the secondary DPS slot can be characters like Evelyn. I think Ellen Jo can work here as well. Soldier 11 can also be a decent option here if you have her. And also as a free to play option, you can run Anton here too. The reason why I picked these options out here is because they're all attack type characters, so they all can enable her buff. But on top of this as well, guys, they have pretty easy energy requirements to get to. You make sure you're going through using their energy, which then in turn is going to be giving Seed her charges back up so she can use her enhanced basic attack even more often. So this is why I chose these here. And also you're giving these characters the buff as well, so they're getting massive buffs when they're on the field. But I do want to touch on Anton just a little bit more because he's a free play option, but the reason why I chose him here is because you can actually use energy with his basic attack and get massive reproc damage out with him. So let's say you trigger an attribute anomaly with someone like Seed, right, because she's electric. Then you bring Anton out into the field, he can actually reproc that damage with his enhanced basic attack. Not only this, guys, he's getting damage bonuses and he's getting crit damage bonuses as well. And on top of all of this, he's using energy whenever you're using that enhanced basic attack, which then in turn charges her up. Seed's giving him energy whenever she's doing attacks, so this right here is absolutely amazing. And then in terms of that third slot guys on the team, it can literally be any stun character or support character you want to run here, whether that be Astriel, Nicole for extra defense shred, and extra energy she gets from her ultimate move. Literally, it can be anyone here that's going to provide a decent buff to the team. I think Nicole probably works the best out here, but you choose your poison and who you want to run. If you have any more team recommendations, let me know in the comment section down below, because I would love to hear them. These are the teams that I thought of, but there might be more. But anyways, guys, that's it in terms of her best in slot teammates. Now let's get into the nitty gritty, the part you've probably been waiting for, and that's going to be the best in slot build, the best in slot disk drive set, stats, and everything like that. But wait, pause, stop right there. You thought that I was gonna let you get to the best in slot disk drive sets without scamming you and telling you to subscribe to the channel? Come on, guys, subscribe to the channel. Anyways, guys, back to the video. Starting off with our best in slot 4-piece set first, guys, that is going to be, what do you know, the new set being added to the game, the Dawn's Bloom set. Because what this set's going to be doing, guys, is that at 2-piece, increasing basic attack damage by 15%. At a 4-piece, it'll be increasing basic attack damage by an additional 20%. And whenever equipped by an attack type character using an EX special attack or ultimate move, you increase that basic attack damage by an extra 20% for 25 seconds. Guys, you are getting 55% increased damage from her basic attack from this set. There is absolutely no shot that you do not run this set and do not farm this set, so much so that I do not recommend running another set. You farm this set up and use it for her. But let's go ahead and talk about alternative 2-piece sets you can run. That being a 2-piece Woodpecker Electra. You get free crit rate. She really does need the crit rate because she doesn't give herself that much of it, so getting the additional crit rate here is going to be really massive, and that's going to be her best in slot 2-piece set. But other sets you can run here, you can run Thunder Metal, which gives 10% extra electric damage. You can run Branch and Blade, which gives 16% extra crit damage, and you can run Hormone Punk, which gives 10% extra attack percentage. But that's all that I have to recommend, guys, in terms of the disk drive sets. Now let's go ahead and talk about what her recommended stats are. Starting off with the main stats first, guys, on the 4-piece is going to be crit rate or crit damage. Crit rate preferred, you want to get this at least around 80% if you can before focusing on crit damage. On the 5-piece, guys, it's going to be electric damage, and on the 6 slot, guys, it's going to be either attack percentage or ERR, because ERR will be charging up her EX special, which will then inherently be helping out her using her basic attack here, but you don't have to use this if you don't want to. Attack percentage is probably generally preferred, but I do want to say I think ERR is a decent option that can be ran here. Overall, I think attack percentage is better, but do keep that in mind if you're having trouble getting attack percentage for whatever reason. And then for the substats, guys, you're going to be wanting to aim for crit rate, crit damage, attack percentage, and flat attack, like literally built like any other DPS. Obviously, I would put an emphasis on crit rate. I would get this at least 80% if you can. And then in terms of the crit damage, boost this up as high as you can go, at least 140%, but if you can get higher, that will be even better for you. But yeah, guys, that's all the stats I have to recommend today for Seed. If you watched this point in the video, then thank you so much. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now I want to talk about kind of what she does if you don't know what she does already. So that being said, guys, let's talk about what her core passive does, because this is kind of the crux of her kit, and then we'll talk about what her basic attack does after this and stuff like that. So what her core passive is going to be doing, guys, is actually targeting your other attack character on the team that has the highest attack, and then be giving them a Vanguard status. Now what this Vanguard status means is basically whenever you use an EX special attack with Seed, you're going to be giving them a buff for 1,000 attack and then also 30% extra crit damage. Now, this also works vice versa. When your Vanguard gets on the field and uses their EX special attack, you give Seed the exact same buff. Now whenever Seed and the Vanguard both have their respective buffs up, you actually get an additional buff, which allows you to do 30% increased damage to the enemy. You're going to be getting a lot of stat bonuses for both of your characters here, whether you have one main DPS, one sub DPS. This also makes Seed really good in the future for if she wanted to be a sub DPS, because she can act like a pseudo buffer as well. Honestly, 1,000 attack buff and 30% crit damage. So this was already pretty good off rip. But additionally, what this is going to be doing, guys, and this is where you kind of start feeding into where her enhanced basic attack is, it's for every point of energy your Vanguard or Seed consumes, you're going to be giving Seed 0.5 steel charge stacks back. And what these steel charge stacks play into is actually her enhanced basic attack, which we'll talk more about in a second here, but you need 120 of them to actually activate her charge basic attack or enhanced basic attack, whatever you want to call it. But quickly going over what the additional ability is going to be doing, this only works if you have an attack type character on the team, which obviously you want to have that on the team, so you get your Vanguard buff up, and then you can get 30% of damage dealt. What the additional ability is going to be doing is whenever Seed does an attack on the enemy, you're going to be restoring 2 energy to the Vanguard. Seed's Falling Petal Slaughters, Falling Petal Downfall, and Clockwork Garden Bloom will be dealing 30% increase all attribute damage and ignoring 25% of the enemy's resistance, so this will help out Seed's damage tremendously. Now, like we mentioned there, guys, this is literally giving you energy back to whoever your ult DPS is. So the more energy you give them, the more energy they can use. The more energy they can use, the more steel charge stacks you can get. you see where this is going, right? Like, it's an Ouroboros circle of giving each other resources to really supercharge what Seed's able to do. Now, I'm not saying that it's the easiest thing in the world to get her charged back up, because you really do want characters that can use energy really quickly and really often to ensure that she's getting it back up, because you do need to use 240 energy at max to make sure you're getting the 120 energy needed to activate her enhanced basic attack. Now let's go ahead and talk about that, because what the enhanced basic attack is going to be doing here, guys, is essentially she summons a mech onto the field and you'll be doing punch attacks on the enemy. Whenever you're activating the steel charge on the enemy, guys, you'll be holding it down and activating a heavy strike, or you'll be activating a crash strike on the enemy. This will be doing absolutely massive damage to the enemy, and if you look at the multipliers this shit has, guys, it is absolutely fucking insane. But we all know Seed has a fucking mech. Where does the mech come into play at? Obviously, it comes in with the enhanced basic attack there, but it also is going to be coming in with the EX special attack as well, which will immediately put you in flight mode. You'll have forward directional movement, you'll be firing constant barrages of missiles towards the enemy, and you can hold down the EX special attack to extend the barrage duration, consuming additional energy. After consuming 60 energy while in this mode, you'll be activating the first stage of her enhanced basic attack, which will then lead into the second stage, which is the falling petals, which does the majority of your damage. So that basically, guys, using the skill here immediately allows you to go into that first stage, then you go to the second stage, and that's basically how it works, right? Also, do want to let this be known, using her ultimate move, which then can be used for her enhanced basic attack or charge basic attack, right? Anyways, guys, that's the basic breakdown of how Seed works. That is the best build for Seed. Those are the best teammates for Seed and everything like that. If you enjoyed today's video, then please leave a like, maybe subscribe, and let me know what I can improve on. That's gonna do it for today's video, though, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. See you later. Hopefully your pulls for Seed go well if you're watching this video before Seed comes out, or hopefully your pulls did go well if you're watching this after she came out and you pulled her and now you're here. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed. See you in the next one. Later. Bye-bye.